going to be looking at how many universities have got space available, how much space is available for how many students will be left out without being able to go to a university and therefore have to go to a TVET college. Are TVET colleges capacitated? Hear me out. Are they capacitated? Are they complying enough? Because not so long ago we had some scandals coming in from certain colleges who are not complying with what was said and what was attributed by the Department of Higher Education and Training. Remember that? Not so long ago we had certain colleges and higher learning institutions that were not compliant. They were not compliant with the requirements of the Department of Higher Education and Training, and therefore they found themselves being excluded from being counted as those universities or colleges of choice. So how are TVET colleges faring in being compliant, in ensuring that they've got capable teachers, in ensuring that their system allows for marks to be taken out on time, that you don't have a situation where you've got a missing qualification, where qualifications are meeting the minimum requirements. Are we prepared? TVET colleges, are we prepared to take in those students who want to come to you instead of coming to university? And universities, with the limited space that is available and the thousands of children that want to come into university, how are we going to take some of them and say to them, sorry guys, there's just no more space available? And how much space is there? And how are we doing with some of the other universities that these kids can find as options? And I'm going to take on another issue, parents, especially the young ones. How are we looking in terms of cost? What is the cost in 2025 of going to university? I really would love to know. What is the cost? What is it costing you? What is the cost of going to university in 2025? Going to a higher learning institution in 2025? Because I will tell you, so let me start. When I went to WITS, I had to pay, it cost 3,300 for registration. I come from the era when I had to pay, I put that on 3,300 for registration, right? And then my fees for the year, I remember it was first year, my fees were 18,500 for registration. And then my fees turned out to be 18,000 rand. It was about 18,000 rand or so that I had to pay for that year. So like year on year. So that means that I basically went to varsity in 1962, but that's another story for another day. But that's how much I had to pay. That's how much we were paying back in those days. And I'm sure things have changed since then. So I'm really would So you've got space for 206. Is this 206,000?
That's above 200,000.
Okay, and then we've got how many bachelor passes?
That's above
337,000. So therefore 130,000 kids or so are going to have to find TVET colleges or private colleges, alternative means of education. As you're saying, just because you've got a bachelor pass, there's so much more that gets thrown into the pool of what is to be considered for university. Now, and maybe you can just speak to that a little bit, because as I said, we've got lots of eager beavers, as we have every single year, Dr. Peter, who want to get into university, who want the space at university, and some of them are going to get disappointed. Let's just be honest. And because a lot of times we often consider, and I don't know, I'm going to use for when I applied at university, my marks alone were not good enough to get me through the door. I had to prove that I was doing community service. I had to have references. I had to prove that I was an upstanding individual. Are those some of those considerations that you make even as universities, even today, when accepting whether or not a student or potential student will be in that university of their choosing?
I'm not sure what the criteria that I use are beyond the performance within the school. For now, we do have spaces within 10 universities for late application. We have, I don't know whether you want to know.
Oh, yes, please. I think that given the amount of people that listen to the show, and a lot of them are young people, I think they'd be interested to know which universities still have space.
The Universities of Technology are PUT, DUT, MUT, TUT, CUT. And then we have the rest of the universities, which are Rhodes University, University of Johannesburg, University of Limpopo, UNISA, UNIZulu. And out of the 10, 3 are prepared to accept walk-ins. That's CTUT, that's Rhodes University, that is UNIZulu.
That is also UNIZulu. Those are the ones that are that are accepting walk-ins.
Yeah, only 3 out of the 10. The others, only online late applications. So these universities specify where they have spaces and on the basis of that, they can apply for those, only for those areas where they say they still have space.
And let's talk a little bit about, the cost of education. I made reference to how much my education was when I studied at Wits, but of course times have changed, and they've changed drastically. And I know that you had to hike up fees once again for universities, even for this year, including for residences. Let's just speak a little bit about what informs some of these hikes, and are they hikes that are related to inflation? Are they hikes that are related to the earning capacity of the majority of South Africans who can or cannot afford education? Let's speak somewhat to the hikes and what informs these hikes.
They want to crash into each other.
On the basis of the budget of the university. So what is at issue here is the quality of education which is being offered. There are cases which have to rely on stocks which are scarce. So students' fees are those sources which are reliable and carry together with subsidies of government. Then we have the debt and
Move out of the way, nigga.
sensitive income, and it's usually comes with earmarked funds. And if anything, it's serviced by the other 2 forms of income for the
Excuse my language, man.
staff. If you are a company or if you require this work to be done for you, or this project or this research, whatever, you don't expect to pay for.
Yo, people are driving.
Or the cracks in the building, or you want
Driving.
the costing to be for your project.
If you like the
So
video,
you tend to meet
don't forget to like and subscribe, baby.
and sources of
You know
funding.
the
So when
vibes.
you come the expense which are carried, such as permanent staff salaries, comes to areas such as subsidies for journals, for library services, and so on, you then have to rely on respectful sources of income. You know exactly on the basis of the number of students that you are going to have and the basis of the number of students who are going to graduate, more or less what your subsidy is going to be. On the basis of that difference between that subsidy and your budget, you then determine the student fees, the increase. So the universities are not staying in terms of their activities. You'll find out that there has been a good building here, and it has to be maintained using the university funds. And they may have been funds which have been provided for it to be built, and that then ends up filling up the expenses, the operations of the university. That is what determines the fees.
I've got a question here. Speaking of fees, is it Khotso who's asking? Please, if you've got a question also for our CEO of Universities South Africa, who's joining us, Dr. Petue Madudu. If you've got a question, especially if you're a student or you're a returning student or first-time student, and you just want to verify a couple of things, she is joining us on the line. Give us a call. And the question that I pose to you is, how much does university fees? How much is it costing you? How much is it costing you to get good quality education? And are you considering TVET colleges? Should you not be able to get in? Are you that one that is considering TVET colleges? Let's talk a little bit to that. But I've got somebody that messaged also saying, Faye, can you please ask your guest to please unpack the application fee that the university charges for all first applicants? Where does it go? Example, if the university has a space for 6,200 first-year students and they receive over 100K of applications. So again, application fee, and again, I think that, I don't know, remember back in my days where how much application fee, but I know that you had an application fee, and that's taken from everybody, isn't it? It doesn't, irrespective of, your application fee does not mean that you actually are going to be accepted. It just means that your application has been received.
That's correct. The fees which are charged for the application fee are used for processing the application and processing the stages of accepting the students. So what that means is that when you get a message which is telling you that you have not been accepted, there are times where you will ask, why have I not been accepted? I need a certain level of detail. And someone has to tell you why. Because there has been a process of assessing the application. So there were people, there are staff members who are employed to do that. And then the other aspect are the IT systems, which are used from storing the data from DBE, I'm talking about the start, and to storing the data, your application data, until a decision has been taken. So that those are IT systems, and there are subscription fees to them, and there's infrastructure for that infrastructure to be stable and to be consistent, so that firstly, no one can hack into it, and secondly, just because we have 140,000 students, it becomes unstable. It should not be like that. So all of this are the expenses which are associated with the application process.